Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for the new Psychic Awakening book, Saga of the Beast. So focusing in this time on Space Wolves and Orks, two collections that I have. So I'll take interest for my own collections that I have here for the rules. It is going to be a full review, so I'll flick through the artwork and then we'll get stuck into the rules. I reckon what I'll do is split this into two videos just to make it easier for people. So one video will be about the Space Wolves, all of their rules, and then take a look at the second video for this book here, which will be for the Orks. So a big thank you to Games Workshop. They've sent me a copy of this ahead of time to review, and it means I'm able to get this information out to you before it's released in the shops. So take a look at the Space Wolves. I think that's the first one we'll come to here. And it'll be like a Tactica as well. I'm going to look at this from a tactical point of view as well. Like stratagems and relics and so on, just to enhance the Space Wolves army that I already have. The army that I have for the Space Wolves, I've tried to, as I usually do for the different Space Marine chapters, try and focus in on units that are very specific to each chapter. So like Thunderwolf Cavalry, very unique to the Space Wolves. So I've tried to go for units like that. Devastation. Sure. Orks everywhere. Here, the green skin threat, the revenge for Cheebhao, however it's pronounced, the storming of Lechides, I've tried to pronounce these as best as I can, the purging of Gavos. Two of my favourite characters in 40k, that's sculpt wise, model wise, paint job, Gut Ripper if you follow the Orks, Gruk Face Ripper, I think it's the official name, but Gut Ripper is the name for my Ork army. He leads the Ork force. And then you've got Crom Dragon Gaze here, and another beautiful model. My Space Wolf army, vast majority of the models are painted up by Siege Studios. The channel sponsors this. That's their army here on the channel. The ambush at the Gnarian Reef. The Siege of Gotgard. Yeah, I've always liked these Bad Moons here, the yellow colour scheme for the Orks. I think a weathered look would look best, but it's a nice colour matched with the green of the Ork's skin. The Cleansing of Brakhatos. Echoes of Awakening. Then, as per usual, you get your missions. There's some brand new models as well. Ragnar Blackmane, and then Guzkout Vrak himself, which is a ridiculous size model. The new Fracker model is huge. So containing the Hordes, Theatres of War, some unique missions, so you get a bit of storyline, you get some missions to play to represent what's going on with the story as it moves along. Draw out the Beast, Armoured Interdiction, yeah, some interesting ones. It was good fun trying out different missions. Cleanse the Hull, And then we're on to Space Wolves here. So with my new Space Wolves list, I'm trying to introduce a little bit of Primaris, just to add a bit of flavour and sort of update the armies. Trying to do that for all of my Space Marine chapters. Imperial Fist, plan to add in some Primaris for them. Blood Angels you've already seen, I've been adding in some Primaris units for them. So, just the usual kind of update they're talking about here, as you see in the other books. So it's going to talk about litanies of battle, relics, points values as well, name generator you get. There's new units it talks about, so it's all laid out just there. Ragnar Blackmane, Warriors of the Fang, and now we're on to abilities here. So here I pretty much it's the same as the other Space Marine chapters here. So they get Angels of Death now, so that unlocks then a Nation of No Fear. Actually reroll for morale. Bolt of Discipline, updated rules for that as per usual. Shock Assault as well as the extra attack on the charge, or if you perform a heroic intervention or you are charged. And then your combat doctrines as well. And I take it. No, it looks like we'll come to that in just a moment. Bolt of Discipline, then Shock Assault, covered that. Yes, combat doctrines. So I'm wondering if this is the FAQ'd version here. So start the battle. Devastator Doctrine is active. Combat Doctrine remains active the duration of the battle. You can change which combat doctrine is active once at the start of each battle round after the first as follows. No, so this is, I think this is the old version here. So it's the way it runs now. It's Devastator Doctrine turn 1. And then you have to switch to tactical. Then on the next turn you can go to assault if you wish, or you can stay on tactical for one more turn. I believe that's the updated way it works here. That just gives you the bonuses there. And talking about the updated data sheets and amendments. So special, or the new units then. Ragnar Blackmane. Here the pictures of the models, it shows him fighting against Skarsgård Frak. I mean, does he stand any kind of chance here is the question, because it's obvious that Fracker's going to be a beast. So we are, I'll try and give you the points values here because they have the points just here. So Ragnar Blackmane is power level 6. I'll call out all the details to you so you can get an idea of what's going on here. 120 points. Oh, it's cheap. He's not too costly in points, quite sensible. Movement 6, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4. He's got 6 wounds, nice, healthy amount of wounds. 7 attacks, that's crazy. Loads of attacks for him. Wow, leadership 9 of 3 up save. You know, you've got shock assault to add on. 8 attacks, tons and tons of attacks. You've got a bolt pistol, the Frost Fang, that's your melee weapon, frag and crack grenades. So the Frost Fang, plus 2 strength, is going to fight at strength 6, AP minus 4, and 2 damage. That's tons of attacks. So he is a heavy infantry killer. You know, like Chaos Space Marines, for example, with no invuln save. He'll cut loads of them down. Very cool. Okay. So then on top of that, you get Angels of Death, all the rules for that. Battle Lust. When a friendly Space Wolves unit within 6 inches and not within 3 inches of an enemy unit consolidates, it can move up to 6 instead of 3. So a little bit extra as the encouragements to try and slam into close combat and then push on and push through that sort of Space Wolves aggressive theme. So you get a bit of help with that. The War Howl here, it says you can re-roll charge rolls made for friendly Space Wolves units other than vehicle units if they're within 6 inches of this model when the roll is made. So it's re-roll charge rolls, not re-roll fouled charge rolls, re-roll charge rolls. So you can choose to re-roll either way. Doesn't have to be a fouled one. Interesting. So it's good flexibility there. The Jarl of Fenris, re-roll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by models in friendly Space Wolves units faster than 6. That's the captain sort of bonus. The Berserker Rage, when this model is affected by shock assault ability, add 3 to attacks. Oh please. 3 to attacks characteristic instead of 1. That's absolutely ridiculous. 10 attacks on the charge. Yeah, it's not like they want you to buy the the new model. And he's got a 4+ invuln save as well. Brilliant HQ choice. 122 points is an absolute bargain, and the model's beautiful as well. I had to hand it to Games Workshop. The characters that they've been sculpting, And notice it's not just new characters all the time, keep pushing ahead and all the old stuff becomes redundant. They're resurrecting some of the great characters in Warhammer 40,000. So that is, I have to say, that's a fantastic move. So, you know, I've said, well, you know, they're making the rules really good, so you go and buy the model, but there's a lot of people who want to buy these models because they're doing fantastic sculpting work of some of the great characters in 40k. So I don't think people are going to mind, and you're going to get some great rules to go along with them. But 10 attacks on the charge with a strength 6, AP -4, 2 damage, close combat weapon. And he's 120 points. He's brilliant. Yeah, fantastic model, great rules. So nice one. It's, I think Space Wolves players will be happy with him. So next then is the Wolf Priest. So really, I think, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. If I do miss stuff, then correct me if I'm wrong. But Wolf Priest in Terminator Armor here. I'm not going to go through all the rules for these. Really, it's been updated because of the listeners being added in now, the way that works. These have needed an update. A standard Wolf Priest as well. Updated there, so you get all the listeners. Listeners are going to be the same as you get for Space Marines, I believe, except there's going to be one unique one that is available for Space Wolves, which we'll take a look at later. The Primaris Wolf Priest, the Wolf Lord in Phobos armor as well. I think these are going to be pretty much the same as they are in the Codex. Wolf Lord in Phobos armor, fascinating. Primaris Battle Leaders in Phobos armor, nice. Huskard to the Jarl. Reroll wound rolls of 1 for attacks made by friendly. Alright, that's your lieutenant ability there. Okay, Rune Priest in Phobos armor. Just unlocking these units now are available. It's Intercessors with all the fully updated rules, the ability to take close combat weapons and so on. Power Fists, Autobot rifles, Stalker Bolt rifles, and so on and so on. So that's all that update there. Similar to, you know, Blood Angels have got the same kind of thing, just getting the full update for all of these Primaris units as well. So there's no need to run over these rules. Infiltrators, which do look nice painted up here for Space Wolves actually. Big fan of the Infiltrator models. James has painted his up for his Ultramarines. They look really nice. So that's the options there. Incursors as well. So just putting those in. The Invicta Tactical Warsuit, Suppressors, Eliminators. So if you want to see the full lowdown on these, check out the Space Marine Codex review. Standard Space Marine Codex review, that's going to have the rules for all of these. The Repulsor Executioner, the Impulsor, and then we're on to some extra special abilities here for the Space Wolves. So I think they've pretty much kept what they had already, and they've given you a little bit extra stuff here as well. So Savage Fury is the new rule. Whilst the Assault Doctrine is active, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 is made for an attack made with a melee weapon by a unit with this ability. That attack scores an additional hit on the target. So this also hits on unmodified rolls of a 6+. So Ragnar Blackmane charges in, 10 attacks, 2s to hit, rerolling 1s, 6s generate extra hits as well. So yeah, a unit of 10 Chaos Space Marines, he could hack them down in one round of combat, potentially. Crazy. Yeah, and you can see the model here. Beautiful, beautiful model. Wow. It's good. It is good. What Games Workshop are doing. So my only worry for 8th edition is, I won't say complaint, but something that's starting to overload a little bit, and that's too many stratagems. Loads of stratagems coming out. I feel sorry for James because when he plays, he has his Space Marine Codex stratagems, and then stratagems coming from Codex supplements and so on. You start stacking up, and it's a table full of stratagems. So that's sort of overloading 40k a little bit at the moment. There's so many to remember. Usually when I play, I sort of narrow them down to my top sort of 10 that I'm going to use a lot, and others that are very insignificant, I sort of just eliminate them and not worry about them too much. Just have sort of the main ones that I know I'm going to use and rely upon in the game, and try and remember like half a dozen decent stratagems that you're going to remember throughout the game, and then just rely upon them. That's usually the route that I go down. Obviously you can just be going around loads of stratagems just looking for ones that aren't even particularly helpful. So that's the way I usually try and play, to keep it straightforward. Savage Fury, which is great. It's just very straightforward. 6s generates extra hits, auto hits, so that's excellent. And then Hunters Unleashed, which is pretty much the same as it was before. So when you charge, or when you make a charge move, you were charged or perform heroic intervention, you get +1 to the hit rolls. So, you know, Space Wolves charging in, 3+ to hit in close combat, become 2+ to hit. So very reliable getting those hits. And then characters as well, your heroic intervention is 6 inches, just those heroes, getting them into close combat. And my Space Wolves list, there's a lot of heroes and a lot of characters in that army, just to represent these great warriors trying to forge their own saga, their own great story, and so I've dotted different characters around my list to perform great heroic deeds on the battlefield. So little bonus there for heroic intervention. So then Vanguard Warlord traits. So again, Space Marine Codex, it's going to be the same. And then Space Wolves Stratagems here as well. Yeah, I'm just double checking here. It's all the same. Target priority, yeah, marksman's honours. Yeah, it's identical. So again, check out the Space Marine Codex. If you want me to go through all of those and the Tactica behind them and so on, for Vanguard Warlord traits, then just check out the Space Marine, the updated Space Marine Codex review for all of that. Space Wolves Stratagems, again, a lot of them are going to be matching the Stratagems for the Space Marines. So I may be going to look for ones that give you, the ones that are unique here for the Space Wolves. Yeah, so from memory here, Duty Eternals Standard Space Marines, Bolt Storm, Rapid Fire, Big Guns Never Tire, Hero of the Chapter, Hammer of Wrath, Veteran Intercessors. Yeah, so these are all your standard Space Marines. Just try to pick out the ones that are unique for the Space Wolves. Fury of the Champions, I think that's a Space Wolf one. 1 command point, use a stratagem in any phase. Select one Space Wolves Terminator unit from your army. At the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a model on that unit. Add 1 to the hit roll. Alright, so Heroes of the First Company, or something it's called for the Blood Angels. Exactly the same. So +1 to the hit rolls. So useful if you're carrying Thunderhammers, Power Fists, and so on. So excellent. In fact, that's even better for Space Wolves, because 3+ to hit, -1 to the hit rolls, +1 to the hit rolls for the stratagems, back up to 3+, and then if you're on the charge or being charged, another +1 to the hit rolls. That means you're striking at 2s to hit with your Thunderhammers and Power Fists. So that's great for the Space Wolves to have that. Knowledge of the foe sounds quite Space Wolvesy. Use this strat, 1 command point. Oh, what is this? 0 command points. I've not seen one of them before. Use this strategy in the fight phase when an enemy character is destroyed by an attack made by Space Wolves model in your army. You receive a command point. Ha! Cool. That's brilliant. So, kill a character, you get a command point. Brilliant. Excellent, excellent stratagem. That's excellent. Counter charge. It sounds like a Space Wolves one here. Yeah, use a stratagem, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. These are good so far. The ones that are unique for the Space Wolves, they're fine. Excellent. Use a stratagem in your opponent's charge phase. Select one Space Wolves unit from your army. To the end of that phase, that unit can perform heroic intervention as if it were a character. I think that's yeah, standard Space Marine one. Crushing Assault. This is for Thunderwolf Cavalry. 1 command point. Use it in your charge phase, and a Thunderwolf Cavalry unit from your army finishes a charge move. For each model in that unit, you can select one enemy unit within an inch of that model and roll 1d6 on a 2+. The enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. Great. Crushing Assault. You could literally, unit of 5 of them charging in, and then just run over a character with it. Excellent. Crushing Assault's another good one. Sometimes you get new stratagems and they're sort of a bit of a waste of time to do anything, but all these are great. Bonus command point for killing characters, 2+ to cause mortal wounds with Crushing Assault. The next one is Touch of the Wild. 1 command point. Use this stratagem in the fight phase. Select one Space Wolves character model in your army. At the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by that model. An unmodified hit roll of a 4+. Scores an additional hit. Oh no. Ragnar Blackmane, 10 attacks. 4+s. Scores additional hits. That's utterly ridiculous. So I don't know. Can he bring Guzkow down? It's absolute lunacy, that is. One character kicking out a horrific amount of attacks. I've not seen the like of it. It's quite incredible. So Touch of the Wild, and it's 1 command point for that. Very powerful. Exceptionally good, that one. Vicious Executioners is the next one. It looks like a Space Wolves one. 1 command point. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when a Wolf Guard unit from your army is chosen to fight with. At the end of that phase, and resolve an attack made by model in that unit against an infantry unit. An unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage. Another good one. Yep, fine. Pack Hunters. 1 command point. Use this stratagem in the fight phase when a Fenrisian Wolves or Cyber Wolves unit from your army is chosen to fight. Right, so these are pretty useless at the moment. Let's see what this does. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by model in that unit. If the unit is within 3 inches of a friendly Space Wolves infantry unit or Space Wolves cavalry unit, you can re-roll the hit rolls. Re-roll on your hits. That's okay. But it's not that amazing a unit, usually, that you're not too scary. Storm Strike. This is a Storm Fang gunship here. 1 command point. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase when a Storm Fang gunship model in your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a Hellfrost Destructor by that model. Add 1 to the hit roll, wound and damage rolls. Excellent. Brilliant. Great one, that one. Gene Wrought Might, that's a standard Space Marines. You can check these out in the standard Space Marine Codex. Target sighted. It's for intercessors, yeah. Hunter Slayer Missile, Skilled Riders. Death Grip Bite. Sounds Space Wolves style stratagem. 1 command point. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when a Thunderwolf cavalry unit from your army is chosen to fight with. To the end of that phase, the Crushing Teeth and Claws models in that unit, weapons models in the unit equipped with a damage characteristic of 2. Great. Yep. Excellent. Yeah, I was talking to, I can't remember who it was saying, you know, how amazing Primaris Marines are, but it's funny how loads of weapons are being updated to damage 2 now. So intercessors, Primaris Marines not as amazing as they were now. There's so much damage 2 stuff that's out there. Steady Advance, standard 1, Transhuman Physiology, standard Skyfire, and Vengeance of the Machine Spirit. Standard. But the ones that are unique for the Space Wolves, they are excellent stratagems. I think Space Wolves players, they must be happy with what's going on here. This is excellent. I think these stratagems are brilliant. Nice enhancement there. Oh, Ragnar Blackmane. He is good. I have to find a way of getting him into the army at some point. And again, I say it again, you know, it's an impressive model. Fantastic. Yeah. Obscuration Discipline, check out Space Marine Codex. Listen is a battle, check out the Space Marine Codex, except this one here. Space Wolves, Tale of the Wolf King and the Lord of the Deeps. Yep, you heard it right, Lord of the Deeps. If this litany is inspiring, select one friendly Space Wolves unit within 6 of this model and resolve an attack made by a melee weapon by a model in that unit against a monster or vehicle unit. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of that weapon for that attack. Yeah, that's pretty good. +1 damage. Excellent. So I don't know, your chain swords become damage 2 against a vehicle in the assault phase. A little bit of AP -1 as well. Yeah, great, fine. So it's a good one. Alright, relics. There's a nice spread of relics now. Space Wolves always only had a handful of relics, so now all of a sudden there's a whole load to choose from. So I'm going to read this with interest because I'm looking for decent relics to add onto my Space Wolves, so we'll see what is available here. Relics of the Fang. So the Mountain Breaker Helm. Infantry character. Now, in my new Space Wolves list, I have like a Wolf Lord on a Thunderwolf mounts. He's not a named character, so that I can add in a relic here, some kind of relic to make him a bit more potent in close combat, or to add a bit more protection to him, something like that. The Mountain Breaker Helm, so for an infantry character only, so Thunderwolf Cavalry is not going to get it, but someone on foot. After you resolve the bearer's attacks in the fight phase, but before they consolidate, you can select one enemy unit within an inch of the bearer and roll 1d6 or 2+. The unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. If this ability destroys an enemy character and the bearer is your warlord, treat the bearer as having performed their deed of legend. See Codex Space Wolves. Okay. So something that's a little bit annoying here. Could be wrong about this. Games Workshop had to update the rules for the Space Wolves Codex, the Deeds of Legends. Maybe they should have redone them in this book here to give you the updated version. Because you have to go to the Codex. If you remember rightly, you have to go to the Codex. The rules are wrong, and you have to go and find the update for it. So they could have put it in this. Would have made sense, but anyway, it says refer to the Codex and then be aware. I think that the Games Workshop have changed the rules for the Deeds of Legend. Talisman, so that one's alright. Talisman of Storms, a Rune Priest, only after resolving the first psychic power for the bearer in your psychic phase, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 12. On a 4+, it's a mortal wound. Interesting one. Then you've got the Worm Splitter. It's a model with a power axe only, so this could be like a Rune Priest. I think you take a power axe. I think the relic replaces the power axe, and it gives you +1 to strength, AP -2 and 2 damage. Resolve an attack made by this weapon against a monster or vehicle. This weapon has a damage characteristic of 4 for that attack. Nice. Decent. Storm Song. Model equipped with a mastercrafted Stalker Bolt rifle only. It replaces that, gives you range 36, heavy 1, strength 6, -3 and 3 damage, and you can target characters with it. The Weird Bane replaces a runic sword. It gives you +1 strength, AP -4 and d3 damage. Resolve an attack made with this weapon, you can reroll the wound roll. In addition, if the target of that attack is a Psyker, this weapon has a damage characteristic of 3 for that attack. So yes, some of these are okay. Still looking out for one that's appropriate here. Adamantine Mental. Model this relic would lose a wound. It's 5+, feel no pain. Yeah, that one's useful enough for sure. Runic Armor. Model has a save characteristic of 2+ and a 5+ invuln save. That one's decent. Yep, that one's really good. Morkai's Teeth Bolts. When you give a model this relic, select one bolt weapon the model is armed with. When that model is chosen to shoot with, you can choose for that weapon to fire a Morkai's Teeth Bolt. If you do, you can only make one attack with that weapon, but if a hit is scored, the target suffers a mortal wound, and that unit is marked by Morkai to the end of the turn. Resolve an attack made against that unit. Resolving an attack against a unit that is marked by Morkai, reroll wound rolls of 1. Okay. Right, next one, Mastercrafted Weapon. When you give a model this relic, select one weapon that model is equipped with. This cannot be a weapon whose profile includes the word Mastercrafted. Add 1 to damage characteristic of that weapon. The weapon is considered to be a relic of the Fang. Digital weapons, a standard Space Marine one there. When a model of this relic fights, you can make 1 additional attack using the close combat weapon profile. When resolving that attack, if a hit is scored, the target suffers a mortal wound. The attack sequence ends. Companion's Blade. Model with a power sword, a mastercrafted power sword. It replaces that, gives you +2 strength, AP -3 and 3 damage, or 2 damage. Abilities and resolve an attack made with this weapon. If the bearer is within 3 inches of another friendly Space Wolves character, you can reroll the wound roll. Nice. And then the Wolf-tailed Talisman. When a psychic test is taken for an enemy model within 18 of a model from your arm with this relic, subtract 2 from the result. That's pretty good. That's pretty potent actually, -2. It's an 18-inch bubble on that one. So yeah, useful. So none particularly stand out there. Maybe this one here, the 5+ feel no pain. put that on a Thunderwolf cavalry mount, a lot of wounds, a lot of 5+s to roll up for. That one would be pretty useful. Or you can take a model that's equipped with a standard 3+ armor save and give it a 2+ armor save and a 5+ invuln. That one's pretty good as well. So yeah, some pretty good protection just there. And then maybe one of these weapons here looks pretty good. Okay, and then your points values here. So I'm just giving you, just checking that it's the same. For what I can tell, it's the same. So really all they're doing, your points values here match, I believe. Let's just check named characters. And what we're looking for is Ragnar Blackmane. No, that's been corrected. So really it's just the new HQ choices here, or the redone HQ. So Ragnar Blackmane was 100 points, and then Fang gear and Ulf gear would 0 to 2 of them 4 points. But now Ragnar Blackmane is just a flat 120 points. That's that difference there. For all your other entries, I don't think there's anything different here. I'm not going to run for all of these. It looks virtually the same. I'm just giving you. But if you're going to draw up army lists, you should go to this one here. But really, I think it's just Ragnar Blackmane is the only change. He's 120 points, and a bargain he is for sure. Points values, there's your random name generator, and that is it. So I'll leave it at that point. So we'll end it here, and in the second video we'll come to Orks and take a look at their updates and the rules for Guzkar, Fracker and Stratagems and so on in that video. So head over and check that video out if it's live and ready for the Orks. And again, I'll take interest in that for sure with my Ork army, looking to make an impression. They haven't played any games yet for season 8, so looking to revamp that army and get it back on the battlefield as soon as possible. And now this update here, I hope to play some Space Wolf games soon, hopefully. Just waiting on the last finishing touches on some of the models from Siege Studios. I'll have a brand new revamped list of a little bit of Primaris coming as well. But that is the update here for Space Wolves. I think it's an excellent update for them. Those stratagems are very potent and cheap in command points. That's excellent news. Some decent enough relics available as 6s. Unmodified 6s to hit generates extra hits, that's fine. All the updated rules for Space Marines, the Shock Assault and so on, all added in, making the Space Wolves a lot more potent. And then Ragnar Blackmane himself, an absolute bargain in points, an absolute beast in close combat. And to top it off, it's one of the great heroes of 40k being revamped and given a new sculpt, and it looks excellent. So exciting stuff for the Space Wolves. Very happy with what's the content of this book. Excellent stuff, and hopefully they'll make quite an impression this season. We'll see, but keep a lookout for better reports there with the Space Wolves in the future. Check out part 2 where we'll take a look at the Orks. A big thank you to Games Workshop for sending me a copy of this ahead of time. Check out gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop stuff at a discounted rate, along with a whole load of other gaming systems as well. But that's the review. Keep a lookout for more reviews on the channel. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.